Hey, it's Tesla Canuck. Welcome back to another video. It's hard to tell from release to release just how much better autopilot and full self-driving, or the journey towards full self-driving, is getting. That's why every 6 months, what I like to do is I like to go out on the same route and I navigate on autopilot to the test to see just how close on a highway circuit we are getting to full self-driving. The last time I did this, I was on software version 2020.11.1, and today I'm on 2020.40.4. So we're going to see just how much in the last 6 months Tesla Autopilot and Navigate on Autopilot has improved and how further along the journey we are to full self-driving. Let's go take a look at our route and our settings, and then we'll get started. All right, let's take a look at our settings first. So we're going to go into our autopilot settings, and you can see I've got auto steer on, I've got navigate on autopilot on, and if we go here and we customize this, you'll see that I have the speed-based lane changes set to mild. I don't want to get too crazy with the Mad Max today. Sometimes it just, yeah, it's a little bit crazy. So I just got it set to mild just for the purpose of this test. Exit passing lane is on. It's just so that if the car moves me into the passing lane, it doesn't keep me there. And I've got require lane change confirmation set to no, so that it's just going to do its own thing, which is the whole purpose of this test. Okay, now let's take a look at our route. So right now I'm a little bit far from where I want to be for our route. I'm actually just south of Barrie, Ontario, Canada. But for our route, we're going to head down closer to Toronto. And I've got someone parking next to me here. It's like a wide open, wide open. Someone comes and parks right next to me. Okay. All right. Where are we here? Okay. So we're going to be heading towards the Toronto area. And our route is going to be from, let me just zoom in a little bit here. So we're going to be coming down the 400, and I'm going to start just south of King City, just like the last test that I did. And then we are going to travel down the 400 to the 407, and then we're going to go from the 407 towards Markham, and then we're going to take the 404 down to the 401, and we're going to loop back up around. And this is approximately 60 kilometers. That's about, I think, 37 miles or so of a route. It's got some fairly complex interchanges, so it should be a really great test to see whether or not we've improved. The last time I ran this test on a scoring system of 20 points, and I deduct a point each time I have to intervene. The last time the Tesla Model 3 scored a 16, so it was already pretty good. I mean, that's 80%. You know, if you got 80% on a test at school, you're probably pretty happy about it. Now, of course, in fully autonomous, 80% doesn't work. You need to be 100. But I'm just saying that we are still along that journey. We don't have full self-driving. So I think 80% was really great on the last test. On this test, let's see if we can do better. It's going to take me a little while to get to my starting point, but as soon as I do, I'll start the camera. And yeah, we'll go and we'll see how the Tesla has improved or regressed. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Okay, we're at our starting point, and before we get going, I just want to mention about the scoring system again. I scored this route out of a total point possible of 20 points. Each time I have to manually intervene, I will deduct a point. So that's how the scoring system is going to work. As mentioned last time I did this test, the Tesla Model 3 here scored 16 out of 20. Without further ado, let's get going. I've already set the navigate on autopilot. I'm going to have to change it several times along the route just to make sure that it follows that loop around the greater Toronto area. So I am going to engage right now. That sounds like Picard. Engage. There we go. And I'm going to, for the most part, not do a lot of talking other than if I have to intervene or if something interesting happens. If you know, if nothing interesting happens, I'm just going to set this. Oh, wait a minute, what's happening here? It is slowing down. This is a fail. This is a fail. Oh, I don't know. Is this a fail? No, it's not a fail. The speed limit does change to 80 here. So, okay, no. We're still at 20. We're still at 20. Now that's interesting because I've heard that in construction zones, a lot of times the signs aren't being picked up. But I think because it was a regular white on black sign and not something like yellow or something like that, that perhaps the Model 3 has recognized that speed sign and overrode the maps. So yeah, that's great. That's actually, I thought it might have been a fail at first, but after seeing that the speed sign did say 80, it was not a fail. We're still at 20 points. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase our speed to 105 kilometers per hour. I don't know, was that like 64 miles per hour? And I'm going to let the car do its thing, and it's going to change lanes, it's going to do whatever it wants, and that's how I've set up this test. So let's, fingers crossed, so far so good. We are coming up on our first maneuver here. The Tesla should go onto the 407, so towards the right here. And yes, it has made the maneuver. 20 out of 20 still. Okay, that was a very successful maneuver of that interchange, and now we are going further towards our destination and do that loop around the Greater Toronto area. Okay, I just changed the map just to make sure that we continue on the loop. And of course, I put in a destination of the Tesla Service Center at Lawrence Avenue. We're not actually going there, but it's always nice to put that address in. Okay, this is interesting. So I'm chiming in here, and the Tesla, I always find, is very courteous. It slowed down to let this person onto the freeway, which is really what you should do. In fact, I probably shouldn't have been in the right-hand lane there. If I wasn't conducting this test, I probably would have been one lane over so that merging traffic, I wouldn't interfere with it. But anyhow, we're still 20 out of 20. Good stuff, Tesla. We are actually coming to, our next maneuver here, which is we're going to be heading south down the 404. And let's see how the Tesla handles this interchange. Now, another interesting thing coming up I just want to chime in on is that I have it set in my navigation settings to use HOV lanes and there's an HOV lane coming up. It's all the way to the left, and you have to cross 3 lanes of the freeway. I'm not sure I want to do that at 105 kilometers an hour. I'll get run over. If the Tesla does want to take me into the HOV, then I'm going to have to increase my speed, but that's not a loss of a point. That's me not wanting to cross 3 lanes of a freeway at 105 kilometers an hour. I'll get run over. All right, it wants to take me all the way over, so I'm going to increase my speed because, like I said, I will get run over here. In Canada, where I am, the speed limit is 100 kilometers an hour, but good luck to you trying to drive at that speed. Navigate to Yorkdale Mall. So again, I'm changing just to make sure that we keep on our loop. And this is really interesting. Let's see what Tesla does here. Okay, so I think because I'm going to be so close to the revised exit, because I just changed the map, that the Tesla's going to abandon the HOV lane. So this is probably what I would have done as well in this circumstance. So very good. 20 out of 20, making the right judgment calls. Like, this is getting, it's kind of scary actually, just how good Tesla Navigate on Autopilot is getting. Like, honestly, halfway through now, I have not had to intervene, and it's really akin to full self-driving, because it's going to take me from point A to point B, and at this point it's not looking like I'm going to have to intervene. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I don't know what else to say. All right, this is our next maneuver. There's a lot going on here, as you can see. There's exit there, there's exit to the left. And then coming up here, there's another fork. So this is a really good interchange in terms of a test for Navigate on Autopilot. And here we've got another merging traffic lane. And very nicely done, Tesla. And again, the Tesla has made the right decision. This is like super awesome. Another fork coming up here. And it made the right decision again. This is absolutely awesome. This is probably one of the trickier interchanges that you can throw at Navigate on Autopilot, and it just navigated it flawlessly. Absolutely flawlessly. Okay, I'm going to need to change the map again. Navigate to Tesla Service Center in Vaughan. Okay, by setting the destination to the Tesla Service Center in Vaughan, the Model 3 is going to continue along the loop that we defined around the Greater Toronto area. So let's keep going. All right, so just chime in on what just happened here. There was a slowdown, and the Tesla at first was going to get into a further left lane, and then decided that the right lane looked better. So that's like real-time decision making by an AI right there. Really super cool. All right, so let me chime in on this. What happened? That blue Mercedes started encroaching into my lane, and I waited to see whether or not the Model 3 was going to react. I'm sure it would have had I let it go, but you know, safety first, I decided to intervene. So I do feel that the Tesla waited too long. A human would have intervened just like I did, you know, before before it was like too late there. So I just feel that I'm going to take a point off, because I don't think the Tesla made the right decision there. I would have, done what I did, which is honk the horn and back off. And so this actually begs a question. And let me know in the comments if you know an answer, because I don't. Not often I get stumped on a Tesla thing, but is Autopilot capable of sounding the horn? I don't know the answer to that. So if somebody does, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, definitely taking a point off of that, because the reaction didn't happen. And I don't know if it would have. Maybe it would have, but it doesn't matter, because it would have been too late. I just felt uncomfortable. All right, let's talk about this intersection coming up, because this is going to be an interesting challenge, because there's very little time to get all the way from the left to all the way over to the right to catch the next interchange, which is going to be northbound on Highway 400. So I'm I'm a little nervous. I will admit that. Sometimes driving, myself, this is a very tricky situation depending on how busy it is. So let's see what happens here. Okay. Okay. All right, now the Tesla really needs to get over. Okay, it made it. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't a lot of traffic. One of these days, I'm going to come and I'm going to just do a video on this segment when there's a lot of traffic, because I'm really curious to see what would happen. But okay, that was a pretty tricky interchange, and flawless. Navigate to Highway 400 en route, King City. All right, I just made the last navigation change to keep us on the loop, so we can close the loop. And yeah, we are 17 kilometers away from finishing. And so far, it's been pretty amazing. I think we're going to beat the previous score. So just dialed up my speed a little bit because the lane that the Tesla is in here, I'm just not comfortable doing 105. Again, I'll probably get run over because that's just the way people drive in Canada. The left lane is the fast lane. So basically the way it works is that the far right is going to be your slower moving vehicles, the middle is going to be like your medium moving vehicles, and then the left lane is going to be your passing lane, your fastest moving vehicles. So not something I'm deducting a point for because the feature doesn't exist yet, but I think what Tesla needs to do here is have us specify a range so that it can accelerate beyond what we set the limit to in circumstances where it needs to temporarily move into a faster moving lane to get around slower moving traffic. I think that would be a really great feature because if this car in front of us right here slows down any further and the Tesla wants to go into the passing lane at 110 kilometers an hour, I don't think that's particularly safe. That's where, when specifying a range, I think that it should have I'm going to use the word smarts, for lack of a better word, to know that it needs to accelerate up to the speed of traffic. So again, not something I'm taking a point off because the feature doesn't exist, but I think for future development of full self-driving, those type of smarts need to be part of the programming. So at this point, if I were driving, I would move over to the right lane beside me. But again, this is not something I'm taking a point off because the Tesla is actually doing nothing wrong. By the letter of the law, it can be in this lane at this speed. So it's just more about personal driving comfort. And I would be one lane over myself if I was traveling at this speed on this freeway. So we've got an 80-kilometer sign. Let's see what happens here. Okay, it didn't seem to recognize that sign. Which doesn't seem to matter because the flow of traffic is much faster anyways. So sometimes you have to just go with the flow of traffic because it's dangerous to be the only car going 30 kilometers per hour less than everybody else. So I'm not sure if that factors into any decision making that the car is making right now in terms of the speed of traffic that it sees around it. I wouldn't be surprised if that was part of the algorithm because it just makes sense that you wouldn't want to create a dangerous situation, again, just by being the only car driving 80 kilometers per hour when everyone else is doing 110 or 120. I can't even catch up to these people. So, all right, so on that note, we have now concluded our test. We have come full circle, a complete loop. So I'm going to now move over to this lane and slow down a little bit, and let's kind of just debrief on this. So the overall score, 19 out of 20. 19 out of 20. Fantastic. The previous score 6 months ago on 2020.11.1 release scored 16 out of 20. So in between 2020.11.1 and 2020.40.4, which I'm on today, there have been pretty the navigate on autopilot and the journey towards full self-driving. Let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think I was correct in taking a point off for that incident where the other car was coming into my lane and I just felt that the Tesla didn't act fast enough? Let me know if you agree with that. And let me know what you think overall. As always, thank you for joining me. I value the time you spend with me. Please hit that subscribe button and the like button. It really helps me out. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Tesla Canuck. Over and out.